Learning how to budget can seem rather overwhelming to beginners at first, but there's no need to be scared. Once you start getting your head around a couple of simple budgeting principles, you'll be able to really start saving money and see a difference in your finances right away. Here are the best budgeting tips for beginners, which will take you through everything you need to know about starting and keeping up your first ever budget from scratch. Welcome back to another episode of Living Fire. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. How to set clear budget goals. If you're watching this video, chances are you're motivated to start budgeting. Maybe you want to finally feel financially secure and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Number 1, define your why. Maybe you want to pay off debt or save up enough for a big trip. Whatever your motivation is, it's very important to have a clear reason why. This is because budgeting, especially as a beginner, requires conscious effort and repetition. Creating a new habit isn't always fun. You're already halfway there if you have your why for doing so. To define your goals, it can help to get visual and put things on paper. You could draft up a budgeting motivation list or make a vision board. Whatever you need to do to keep your budgeting goals in mind. Number 2, set financial goals. Not only do you need to know why you want to start budgeting in the first place, but it's also very important to think in terms of specific numbers. How much debt are you hoping to pay off each month? How much money do you want to put aside in your emergency fund? How much will you be saving to go towards your retirement? You cannot budget with a vague idea that you want to save up some money. Focus on numbers and focus on facts. Number 3, make sure your goals are realistic. Our final tip in defining your budgeting goals is to be realistic. Sure, it'd be great to be able to save $200 a month into your traveling fund or to pay off all your college debt in the space of 2 years. This may not always be possible unless you are willing to switch to an extremely frugal lifestyle. In order to start a budget from scratch, you'll have to start small. It's small changes done consistently over time that compound into large wins. Remember, you can always adjust your budget to save more later. Aim to start with realistic goals, and you'll be well on your way to become a great budgeter. How to start budgeting. Best budgeting tips. The following easy budgeting tips will walk you through the process of creating a monthly budget. You could have never budgeted a day in your life. It doesn't matter. These steps show you a simple but effective way to budget your money. Number 1, keeping track of paychecks. There are 2 basic parts to budgeting: determining your income and determining your expenses. So the first step that you need to take is adding up all your income sources and figuring out how much money you have to go around each month. This will include your day job or jobs, any additional side jobs you take on, and any passive income source or sources. Number 2, analyze where you are spending money. Next, you'll need to figure out where your money is going. A good first step to determine this is to have a look at your bank statement. Take some time to go through it and try to see which categories are taking most of your income. Is it entertainment, going out, groceries? Start writing down each purchase you make in a notebook and go through it at the end of the month. Not only will it give you an accurate idea of where your money is going, but it should also make you more mindful of your spending. Number 3, divvy up your paycheck. After you know where your money currently is being spent, it's time to reassess and make decisions on how much money should be allocated to each budgeting category going forward. It's important to choose realistic amounts for each category. For a budget to be effective, you must stick to it, so if the money in a category runs out, you won't be able to spend more on it until the next month. Number 4, incorporate sinking funds. When you go through this exercise, you may realize you have upcoming known events that will cost money. This includes Christmas shopping, birthdays, and even bills like life insurance or car maintenance. For these non-monthly larger expenses, it can be beneficial to plan ahead for them and break up the cost into a monthly amount. Another word for this is a sinking fund. Number 5, take away temptation to overspend. If you're using a debit or credit card, it can be easy to overspend. You aren't tangibly losing cash during the purchase. One way to combat this is to use the cash envelope method. You can use this system of physically putting your money into envelopes labeled for just such an occasion to better financially navigate such impulses. While starting out, you may even find that this method works for your lifestyle and decide to continue with it as a new habit. Number 6, use a budgeting app to track your finances. This isn't necessary, but is a good option for those who prefer to track their money digitally. There are a ton that you can choose from now, from Pocket Guard to Dollar Bird. Your bank may even have an app that you can use that tracks your expenses directly. The great thing about using those is that they can really help you visualize what your expenses are. It can be quite shocking to notice that 23% of your money is going toward brunch, or just how much you are spending going out on the weekends every month. With their colorful graphics, not only will these apps give you a clear sense of where your money is going, but they can also make budgeting more fun. Well, as fun as it gets. Planning your regular expenses and savings. Once you have established where your money is going, you'll need to make a distinction between recurring expenses and occasional ones. Expenses typically fall into these three categories. Number 1, monthly expenses. Recurring expenses are things like your water and electricity bills, your rent, and your insurance. It can also cover categories like the cost of monthly medicine for regular treatments or paying your dog walker weekly. Number 2, yearly expenses. Regular expenses are budget items that you know will be occurring in the future. Taxes are one such expense. Work with an accountant to predict roughly how much you will be taxed in order to save that, and about 10% more just in case. You can spread this total amount into a monthly line budget item so it won't hit you all at once. Number 3, occasional expenses. Anything else belongs to the category of occasional expenses, meaning they are harder to predict. While you know roughly how much your rent will be 6 months from now, the amount that you spend on groceries can vary widely. Put your regular expenses down on paper and make sure that you budget enough to pay them in full each month with a little wiggle room. Number 4, savings. Savings by most people are not usually considered an expense, but if you look at it as one on your current self to be placed into a separate account as soon as possible, whether it is automatic or manually done after getting paid, this will only benefit your future self. Savings can fall into monthly, yearly, or occasional expenses. The easiest way to stay consistent would be to set it up as a monthly expense. Learn how to separate wants versus needs in your budget. Once you have put money aside toward recurring expenses and savings, you can start thinking about clever ways to use what is now your spending money. As a beginner trying to learn the secrets of budgeting, this often involves a complete shift in the way that you think about money. More specifically, it involves rethinking the difference between needs and wants. There are a couple of things you need to live, like food, shelter, medicine, and clothing. Anything that involves entertainment, going out, or buying clothes you already have are wants rather than needs. As a new budgeter, you'll need to pay attention to your needs first. How much money do you spend on groceries each month? Can that number be cut down? Next, you'll need to start thinking about your wants. If your goals are to save more money than you did in the past, you'll now have less expendable money to spend on your wants. This may be hard to adapt to at first, but it will teach you self-control. As much as possible, stay away from reckless expenses. And with that, we've reached the end of this episode, all about how to budget as a beginner. Are you interested in budgeting and getting a hold of your life and spendings? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this one and found it helpful, remember to leave a like on the video and to subscribe to Living Fire for even more amazing videos just like this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.